Hello, I want to talk to you about culture today. What is it? And let's look at some examples of it. Well, culture is so natural to us, we're not usually aware of it. Culture simply means the way of life of a group of people. It's what binds people together to make society work and make living together with others cohesive. But let's break this down a bit to see exactly what culture is, this way of life of a group of people. Well, culture is made up from lots of bits, but ultimately it has two key features: values and norms. Let's look at values, what they are and what they do. Values are principles or things that people think are important, and different cultures have different values. For example, British culture generally value things like privacy, freedom of speech, education, friendship, wealth, and success. Now, can you see that because we value privacy, because we think it's important in our culture, this links to something else: the ways we behave, our norms. So, because we value privacy, it's not usual for us to spy on others in their homes. This is not the norm.
So, what are norms? Well, norms are about our usual patterns of behaviours. Let's look at Irving Goffman's ideas on the links between values and norms to illustrate this relationship. Goffman was interested in the norm of civil inattention. He claimed that in certain cultures, like our own, for example, we value privacy and personal space, and so we act on this. Our values flow to our actions, our norms. For example, it is not the norm to choose to sit next to someone else on public transport when there are other options. So within our culture, we value our personal space, and therefore our norms are very much linked to this. We find any other option than to sit with another person. And if someone does come and sit down beside us when all other seats are free, we think this is weird, odd. This is simply because it's not our own cultural norm. Goffman's ideas of civil inattention as examples of cultural values and norms can also be seen in other social situations. Let's think about waiting for an appointment at the dentist's. We pick up a magazine and start to browse. We're sitting in our own space, doing our own thing, so we do not expect a person to encroach on that. Someone reading your magazine? How dare they? So, we've talked a little bit about culture, the way of life of a group of people, and what binds us together and makes us cohesive. And we focused on the importance of norms and values. But there are other aspects that make up culture, and it is only sometimes really obvious to us when we visit other places in the world. For example, you might have been exposed to different customs when eating out in another country. Burping can be seen as praise for a good meal, and not polishing everything off and leaving your plate with some contents on it is seen as polite. Different cultures have different traditions. They celebrate different days and times for different reasons. Thanksgiving is a key time in the US, but not for us. Languages are different, and then there are skills that define cultures. In some areas of the Philippines, diving for fish is a desired skill amongst children and is encouraged as it helps communities survive. So now there's work to be done. So what I need you to do is to go on to eBrock on Year 1 Sociology, Core Concepts, and look at the PowerPoint on culture. And I want you to take good notes on that. You have got a workbook and you need to fill in pages 2 and 3 of your workbook and answer the questions. And you're going to do this by looking at the PowerPoint and this video again. So good luck and see you next week.